long story short, Pebble makes smartwatches. They went on 3 successful Kickstarter campaigns. Their numbers dipped in red and they were acquired by Fitbit last December. Now let's go into the details. So let's go back to May 2012 when they went to Kickstarter for the first time. They presented their first Pebble smartwatches. They were pretty much the only smartwatch maker at that time. And the smartwatch mainly focused on productivity, on giving you notifications, on not being intrusive, just being there, not being too loud. And also their battery life lasted like for 5 days, which was absolutely unbelievably amazing, and we were all super excited about that. They raised about $10 million, and that's how the story of smartwatches started. Then going forward to 2014, it was their investment year. They went from 30 to 100 employees. It was amazing, everything was booming, like the smartwatch market really picked it up. By the end of the year of 2014, they sold over 1 million smartwatches. They were profitable, everything was going great, the smartwatch business. They actually created a market that was not present there before. And it really looked like it's going to go to the skies, that it's really amazing that people are picking it up. And that was before all the other real competitors catch on, like Apple Watch or Android Wear or Moto 360. That was all before they were like the almost only one on the market. In March 2015, they went to the Kickstarter for the second time with their time watches, where I also bought mine, and they raised $20 million, like doubled the amount. It was amazing. The shipments and everything were pretty much on time, there was no problems, but when the watches hit the retail stores, they were not selling as good as they expected. So in the second half of 2015, the company's numbers dropped in red. They didn't meet their sales goals. And that's where all the problems really started. So they tried to raise the money, and they did raise $28 million, which was a mix of debt and venture capital from private investors. And they made a statement that they're in for the long haul. They just don't, it's not just like a short game they're playing. There is even some rumors that at that point, a smartwatch maker, Citizen, wanted to buy Pebble for $740 million, but the negotiations didn't go through. In 2015, the wearables market was slowing down. The sales were not as high as expected. Also, other companies in the same market had problems. They couldn't really get the people to buy these smartwatches. People just didn't see the need for them. Like even Fitbit stock fell 43% in those days, so it was kind of a rough moment for all the wearables. Then comes March 2016 and Pebble had to lay off 25% of their employees, and imagine how hard it was then after the layoffs for them to raise any more capital. So they quickly realized they need to focus on fitness tracking part of smartwatches, because that is what most users were interested about. Like 85% of the sales were mainly cheap fitness trackers. So that's why they came up with the idea for Pebble 2 and Pebble Time 2 that all had heart rate monitors. So in June 2016, they went to the Kickstarter for the third time. They were actually forced to go to the Kickstarter because they couldn't raise capital any other way. They raised $12 million at this time on Kickstarter. And the wearables market was getting even shakier, like volume shipments in the third quarter of 2016 were down by 51%, but there was a light at the end of this tunnel. The fitness tracker segment of wearables actually grew for 3%. So that was definitely the way to go, but was it too late for them? So the September 2016 was really hard for the company. The CEO, Eric Majakowski, tried to do everything in his power to save the company and keep it afloat. He tried to find somebody to license the operating system to, or to get funds from private equity companies or family-based investment offices, which is not a thing you do in the tech circles. So by October 2016, Pebble is sunk. They made a decision that the only thing they could do is sell everything they can, with the priority of protecting their customers, sticking by their developers and employees, and trying to make the best out of the whole situation. And in this case, Fitbit was the best suitor. The news leaked a week earlier, but on 7th December 2016, Pebble announced it's getting acquired by Fitbit. The deal only included talent and intellectual property rights, and about 40% of Pebble's employees got the invitation to work at Fitbit. All manufacturing that was done by then for the new watches and the new products was stopped at that time, also all the promotion and everything. The watches, this watch that I have on my wrist, they have no warranty anymore. And for now, they really wanted to keep them working, and their first priority was that they reduce the dependency on the third-party apps and cloud services for Pebble. So even if Fitbit decides that it doesn't want to pay for these services anymore, we would still have a pretty much functional watch and not a brick on our wrist. Also, all the pledges for all the unshipped products of the last Kickstarter campaign are being refunded, and they should already be in fully refunded by now. The acquisition price was somewhere between 43 million and 40 million, and that was still just hardly covering their debt. So Eric Majakowski is not leaving this acquisition as a wealthy man. It wasn't that kind of an acquisition. It was just to save the remains of the company. Pebble has created such an interesting fan base of connected fans, of people who really love the watch, and they didn't want to just brick their watches overnight. So they did everything in their power. Even Fitbit went above and beyond to keep the watches running for as long as possible. But it's only a matter of time when future updates of Android and iOS systems are going to override what our watches can do. For now, everything still works as it is. So why would Fitbit even buy Pebble? Well, they say that Pebble gives them deep industry expertise. There is some rumors that they are probably going to focus also in the productivity of their watches, not just fitness tracking. So if you take a look, Pebble started the market with productivity watch, but what people actually wanted was fitness wearables and things to make sense of the quantified self and to see how your body is reacting and all these things. And then maybe the next step for the smartwatch industry is going to be productivity and helping with things. So maybe Pebble was just ahead of its time with their productivity approach and 5-day battery and everything else, because all the other fancy smartwatches are still on 1-day battery and they just put your phone in your watch, and that's not what you actually want. So yeah, Pebble was interested, Fitbit was interested in their deep industry expertise. They just bought the software. Also, in the beginning of 2006, Fitbit acquired a payment startup called Coin. So there might be some NFC payment systems, smartwatch fitness tracker thing going on. They said they're building bigger, better things also for something that you would put into your daily life, and also for professional careers, for caregivers, insurers and people like that. So they can make a better use of their watches. In my opinion, the smartwatch market is not dead. It just needs to figure out its way how to actually incorporate itself into our lives, so we will not ever put it off of our wrists. And Pebble did that for me. So if you're a passionate Pebbler, there's no need to be angry at Fitbit, because all they did was save our beloved company and watch to the point that our watches are still going to work for some time. There's also an amazing community forming of people who are developers and would like to keep the Pebble spirit alive. So I have a couple of links down below of Rebel and different Discord channels and everything else. So if you have that kind of knowledge and if you would like to help, those are the places you can go to. So I hope you really liked this video. I hope I gave you like a full picture and made sense of all the information that was available and how the whole thing actually got to the point where it was. Maybe if Pebble would figure out that fitness trackers are things that are currently selling the most earlier, maybe they would still be alive today, but it just came like half a year or a year too late, and it was too late, and then they couldn't get back up and running. What are your thoughts? What do you think about the whole Pebble Fitbit thing, and do you think it's going to go for the best, for the worst? Do you think that Fitbit has something amazing in store? I would really love to hear your comments. So have fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye!